my last video about Jameson, someone left me this comment. Check out How Long Has That Evening Train Been Gone by the Supremes. So I did, and after checking it out, I was inspired to transcribe it. After transcribing it, I also found it in this, the Jameson Bible, Standing in the Shadows of Motown. It's on the very last page of the book, and it's transcribed by Anthony Jackson. One cool thing about Anthony Jackson's transcriptions is the level of detail he goes into. He notates open strings, rakes, and adds nice little performance notes here and there. I wish I had looked at this before making my own transcription. So in this video, we're going to check out all the things that make this bass line really great. Check out this intro. I love the behind the beat feel that Jameson has, and you can clearly hear it on this intro. It drags behind the beat, giving it a laid back feel. It just sounds so cool to me. You just don't hear this in modern pop music because everything has to be locked to the grid. But if we put these tracks into Logic and we compare the drum track and the bass track, we can see the human feel. You can see the bass behind the beat here. Here again. I also think the drummer on this track deserves a lot of credit. Check this out. The drums are playing this great funk groove, about 89 BPM. Jameson is feeling a 16th note subdivision, and it's impressive that he can play some of these lines with a single finger on the right hand. You also see that he often applies syncopation to his bass lines to make them more rhythmically interesting. Every part of the bar, the beat, or a subdivision of the beat can be organized into strong and weak beats. This is the way our brain organizes beats. For example, in a bar of 4/4, you have 4 beats. Beats 1 and 3 are strong, beats 2 and 4 are weak. If we zoom into a single beat, you can say that the first part of the beat is strong and the second half is weak. But if we zoom in even further, we can say that this 16th note and this 16th note are strong, and this 16th note and this 16th note are weak. Syncopation is where you emphasize those weaker parts of the beat. If you look at part of this bass line, we can see that he's constantly emphasizing these weaker parts of the beat. And the effect of this is moments of tension. Now, tension is an important part of music. If we don't have tension, music is boring. But tension must be balanced with resolution. It's the old yin and yang idea. And if you think hard enough, you can apply this to anything in life. Anyway, sorry, back to the bass line. I've noticed he likes to play on the second 16th note of the beat. You can see that here and here. So in this excerpt, you can see rhythmic tension all the way through the bar with a resolution at the first beat of the next bar. With this bass line, he's using a lot of chromatic notes, even more than usual. Chromatic notes are notes that build tension before resolving. So here we have another great example of how he uses tension. Here are the chord tones. We're going to refer to these notes as target notes. And now look at the chromatic notes that lead into these target notes. But this idea of chromatic notes leading into target notes doesn't explain everything. He's constantly using the note A to lead into notes. He plays A 4 times in this bar, which is interesting because this track is in the key of D flat major and A is not in that key. So what's going on? Well, sometimes it does function as a chromatic passing note, but not always. I think the reason is simply because it works as a bouncing off point, as it is always played on the open string. This is merely an idiosyncrasy of a bass player. Interestingly though, he almost always plays it on a weak beat. Another interesting point about this bass line is it's a combination of improvisation and written parts. For example, all of this is clearly improvised as it doesn't repeat throughout any of the song. However, when we get to this last part, he plays a unison line with other instruments. So as I've discussed before, he uses a lot of open strings. Now this presents a big problem for bass players. So there's not a lot of footage of Jameson, but if we look at this video, You can see that he's using this floating thumb technique. And this is actually a really effective technique. Here's how you do it. When descending, it's going to be your fretting hand that you use. So we're going to play an open string, rake down to the next open string, and use this hand to stop the previous string. And when we're ascending, the thumb is going to be the thing that mutes the previous string. So I'm not going in the string and sitting on top. All I'm doing is using it to slide across the strings. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to support the channel, there is a link to my ebook below. Thanks very much.